Hi, and welcome to today's video where I will be talking about the role of communication in IT project management. And I will cover some of the areas of, how important communication is, really, some of the challenges that you face with IT projects specifically regarding communication and making sure it's all understood, and some strategies to enhance your communication and some tools that could assist, and then really some tips for how you can improve your learning for your sorry should I say improve your communication rather than learning, or how you can learn to be better communicator, put it that way. So without delay, let's crack on with the video. So in essence, we all know that within IT projects, or within any project, that communication is undeniably the most important tool that you must be good at to make sure that you are getting the message across, that you are understanding the elements to, and it is it can be, in some circumstances, can be very simple to do, and you can get the message across specifically if you're a project manager who understands how to do things and you can understand what you're delivering, so you are able to articulate. However, if you're a project manager who are struggling to understand what you're trying to deliver, articulating what you need can sometimes be a challenge, and that will be a real game changer for you to how you can best communicate within this project. And I myself have been in many situations where I've totally understood the project and I've been able to fly through the project without problems, and I've also been in situations where I've been in projects where I just didn't get it, and I was really struggling to engage, and therefore I was struggling to communicate what I needed and how, because you didn't have that understanding. So communication, as we know, is really key and has a massive role to play within the success or the failure of your project. Okay, so some of the challenges that you will face as an IT project manager really are, so for example, first one is technical jargon versus layman terms. Can you translate technical stuff into layman terms so that people at different levels can understand that? And are you able to translate any technical jargon so that it can be passed on to other technical individuals in a different manner, or people who are non-technical, so that you can, they can understand what actually happens. So, an example will be a stakeholder not understanding technical terms during a presentation. Now, I've worked in many projects where stakeholder is non-IT based, and you're trying to explain the benefits, and they just don't get it. So you've got to, use very simple, and I hate to use a term, but dumb it down so it's simple and easily understood. Next one is remote teams and cultural differences. Now, at the moment, if you've worked in projects where you have teams across the world or different areas, you're going to have challenges there, and then cultural differences as well. So people from different European countries, across the Far East, India, Australia, etc., all have different ways of working and different methods, and it is adjusting to understand those. So an example would be here: a remote developer misinterpreting the urgency of an email due to language, barriers, not understanding the email. So you have to be very clear. You have to use, some sort of transparency. Use Google Translate if need be. There's whole loads of tools out there to make things better. But managing that, that's another example of managing that understanding through good communication. Next one is managing your stakeholder expectations. Now, one of the challenges is really translating their expectations into reality. Now, some of the lot of stakeholders will say, "I want this delivered within X number of weeks," and that once you've done your homework, you are actually, and you've looked at the project, that you cannot deliver it. Sometimes you have to articulate that message, whether it's whether you like it or not. You need to do that, and it's how you articulate that and communicate that message in the right way so that the stakeholder understands it, and then actually get their buy-in, which is really key. So some of the strategies, that you could use to enhance communication are, active listening. Make sure that you are understanding, you are constantly listening. And when I say active listening as well, not simply just sitting there going yes and 3 bags full, thank you, but also making sure that you're asking questions. If you don't understand it, just be open and honest and say that you don't understand it, rather than trying to pretend you do. I have seen some other PMs do this, and it has not gone well, which from a technical perspective, you will upset people, and they will then stop trying to support you. Now, another method you could do to enhance your community, use visual aids. Use a PowerPoint presentation. There's other tools out there. Gantt charts, whatever you find. Kanban boards. Use that to communicate where you are. Those visual aids are really, really helpful to get the message through. Another one is feedback loops, where you check in weekly with your teams, make sure that you're understanding stuff, you are revisiting things and make sure you are writing things down in some sort of log so that you've got a record on this. Please do not forget, if you've got a Kanban board, keep it up to date. If you're using the old critical path method, keep your RAID logs, get your AC matrix, etc., whatever you need to make sure your project plans are fully up to date. Now, sometimes I can appreciate it's boring, but those things will get you out of trouble. Now, some tools that can assist. So firstly, there's plenty of project management tools out there. You've got Jira, you've got Trello if you're using Kanban, if you're using, sprint planning, you're using Kanban boards, etc. You've got MS Project, you've got Excel if you really want to go down that way. There's communication platforms, use Teams, there's Zoom, there's all sorts of things out there that you can use to make things better. And finally, document platforms, so Confluence, Google Docs, collaboration tools. There's Microsoft new tools, that collaboration, OneNote. I don't see many people use OneNote. I use it a lot, where I can put information in, but I've also used Trello a lot in previous roles, and Confluence, which I think is really, really good to get the message across. Some real tips to improve individual communication. Now, some of the things I would say is, continuously keep learning, go out there, attend workshops, read books, speak to people, put yourself in situations where you're uncomfortable. That way you will become a better communicator. Practice active listening. Now, engage in group discussions, practice summarizing points, really, go out there, join a debate team, and listen to the debate so that you can articulate and communicate better. Do that. And seek feedback, get people's feedback, don't be scared to get negative feedback. That is what will make you better. It's always the things that people don't like to tell you are the things that will make you better. Oh, I didn't like the way you write your emails, or I don't like the way you communicate. Oh, okay, how would you like to be communicated? At least you can then ask the right question to move things along. So in summary, communication, as you know, is really, really key as part of any delivery, not just IT project management, but in IT, it's particularly hard because you've got to translate jargon. And I think the same would be for legal projects or financial projects, etc., that you need to be able to translate that. The more effective communicator you are, the better your projects will be, and the easier you will find that you can get things done. You will build better stakeholder management, you will get people's buy-in better, you will be able to express yourself better, and you can also argue your case better if you have those communication skills. So I hope that video was helpful. Thank you for listening, and if you like the video, please click like, and I hope you could subscribe as well. Thank you.